So this is a video that I promised to do when we get to 300 subscribers. I know for a YouTube channel that seems very minimal, but to me that means a lot. So I would like to say thanks to everyone that has liked, shared, and watched the videos that I've put up here. I hope that you've enjoyed it. You've got some valuable content out of it. Been able to see some squash that you don't regularly see, especially for the people around Port Elizabeth. So this small video or short video, I tried a version of this before and it turned out to be quite long, but the short video is just basically to explain who I am. So I think it's only fair that maybe you get to know me a little bit with that regard. So let's start. My name is nanaowusueng. I was born in Zambia actually, and we moved to South Africa when I was 2 years old. I grew up in the Eastern Cape and I went to a school called Queen's College in a small town of Queenstown. It was there, I think in grade 6, that I started squash. Fell in love with the sport ever since. I believe I've played my first interprovincial tournament at the age of 13. After going on an IPT like that, interprovincial tournament, I was hooked, and I've carried on playing squash from then until now, which has been for 18 years. So if you can do the maths, I'm 30 years old. Fun times, played squash all the way through high school, as well as hockey, but squash was always my main sport. After leaving high school, I went to the University of Pretoria, where I also played squash for the University of Pretoria's team. We had a lot of great squash players there. Michael Wood, the Kershaw brothers, Shayna Wood, obviously, she was Shayna Tucker at the time. Played with Jacques Kruger. That's the first time that I met Calvin and Glover as well. He was one of the people that were around there and one of the coaches at the time. So I spent my time at the University of Pretoria. I only played squash for 2 years at the University of Pretoria because I was studying a degree in mechanical and aeronautical engineering. Towards the end of my second year of playing squash, definitely decided to take the academics a lot more seriously because I got academic bursary. So there were sort of requirements, passing requirements, or let's say you had to meet a certain grade in order to keep your bursary. I opted to play social hockey and focus on my studies and gave squash a bit of a break. I moved to a town after finishing my degree called Richards Bay, and it is there that I started playing squash again. And actually that was my first stint in actually coaching privately. So as part of our bursary program at the University of Pretoria, we did have to coach with respect to a lot of group classes. But in terms of me privately coaching individuals, that my first taste of that was actually in the town of Richards Bay. Played squash there, but not as seriously as I did in Pretoria. I fell in love a lot more with hockey. I represented KZN Coastals, which is a interprovincial team, at the South African Country Districts tournaments for 2 years. And I played hockey there. So I played a lot of hockey in Richards Bay and Durban. And squash was something that I coached, but didn't play as much until I moved back to the Eastern Cape at the end of 2018. So the beginning of 2019, I moved to Port Elizabeth. I met some old friends who convinced me to play squash again, and I joined a local club, and that's how I started playing squash again in Port Elizabeth. Played squash for the entire year of 2019 until I changed jobs. New work opportunity opened up, which took me to the UK, but also gave me the flexibility to visit my fiance, who was at that time located in the Netherlands. So I was able to bounce between the UK and the Netherlands up until the pandemic hit, which forced me to come back to South Africa, work from home. And obviously during that period of time, which is March 2020 until May 2021, I did not play squash at all. There was no opportunity to play squash at the time. Things were locked down. Even during that time I was in the Netherlands, obviously with a lot of the restrictions and them taking a very harsh stance against sort of movement and exercise in the corona period, I found myself gymming a lot more. And yeah, that was sort of my sport for that period of time. I would just lift heavy weights, and that is something that I could do because my fiance worked at a health center which had a gym. So I would work remotely and station myself at her office, and during my lunch break as well as at the end of my workday, I was able to hit the gym quite hard. And I did that obviously for quite a while. During the pandemic, due to the fact that Netherlands made accommodations for long distance relationship couples, I was able to bounce between South Africa and the Netherlands. But as usual, no squash in South Africa or in the Netherlands due to COVID restrictions. Eventually, when I came back to South Africa in May 2021, I thought of playing squash as a little form of cardio to supplement my gym. And I signed up at the squash club that I was at before I left. I would sort of go gym in the morning and just hit by myself for a little bit of cardio, which would be around 45 minutes or an hour of just solo hitting, until I found a friend of mine who I used to play with in 2019, and he convinced me to try play one league match with them because they were short of players. And long story short, I ended up playing squash again. So definitely, although I've been playing squash for 18 years, there is a period of 5 years at least, the 3 years at university and the 2 years during the COVID pandemic where I have not played squash at all. And I guess this would be the first year full year and a bit back playing the sport again after that pandemic time, and it's been actually something that I have enjoyed. In terms of work, obviously after finishing my degree, I worked as an engineer in the town of Richards Bay for 3 years till I moved to Port Elizabeth. Worked as an engineer here until I changed jobs into software. A lot of the time I sit behind a computer and a desk and I program and I do system administration. Basically, I work from home from 8 until 5. During the day, I do have a day job, and after I have finished my work at 5 o'clock, I rush to the squash courts at 5:30 to go coach a lot of juniors as well as some older players and club players. That is, I guess, me in a nutshell, very condensed form. I guess it is just important for you to know maybe a little bit more background information about me if you spend time, sort of consuming this content and you like this channel. It is something that I thought would be a little bit nice. At least you get to know a little bit about me, some things that you might have guessed, maybe some things that you might have had assumptions about. Hopefully I answered now. And I guess if you've got any other questions, you know where to find me: Instagram, Twitter, in the comment section below. I would believe I'm active enough. I do respond to all the comments that I do have below the videos. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. As I mentioned, if you've got any other questions and stuff like that, please drop them down below. But yeah, I'm just very thankful for all of you subscribers, community, and a lot of people that have reached out to me on other platforms, questions and information that we've shared basically over this period of time, very short period of time, which is, I guess, the past 6 months from when I released the first video. I know a lot of things have changed, setups have changed, and hopefully the quality of the videos are getting a little bit better. I know sometimes conditions aren't in our favor with respect to filming some of these squash matches. So there's lighting situations and just obviously angles and where people are sitting. But we try our best to obviously capture the footage in the best possible way. I know it is not PSA standards, but please just understand that we're doing this for the love of squash in PE, in EP, as well as South Africa. So yeah, apart from that, as I mentioned, any questions, please put them in the comments below or send me a message. But yeah, till next time, take care and cheers. Bye.